Hi, I'm Brian Burzynski with Intelligent Threads, and today we have a guest. Dr. Frank is here. We're super excited about him, and we're going to do some pretty amazing stuff. But first, we want to introduce him, and I really want him to tell us more about who he is and his background. He hails out of Wichita, Kansas, and has an amazing practice up there. I've actually been up there and saw his layout and some of the stories that we'll portray here in a minute. It's going to be really fun and pretty exciting. So, Dr. Frank, tell us about yourself.
Ooh, where to begin? So I am somebody who decided to go back to school later in life. I had a long list of different careers and different occupations. So I gained a lot of intelligence and acquired a lot of knowledge that I think has helped me as far as what I do, which gives me a little bit different insight than a lot of other people in my field. One of the big things was I went back to chiropractic because as a kid, it just always made me feel better. Now, at the time I didn't realize I was struggling with Lyme disease because that's not something we looked at, back in the 80s and 90s, especially not in Wichita, Kansas. So that was something that I really struggled with, had trouble in school and things like that. And chiropractic was something that always really helped me. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to go back and learn more about that and figure that out, why that worked for me. And while I was in school, I decided to get into functional medicine. So I learned all about lab testing and learned how to do all this different stuff there to be able to treat things from a natural point of view. And then after school, I got into some sports medicine. So I worked with a lot of our pro teams and our amateur teams in town and learned how to do a lot of different soft tissue manipulation. And so I was trying to figure out a way to bridge the athletic component, which when it comes down to it, we're all athletes. We manage to get out of bed in the morning, so everything's an athletic endeavor, some days more than others. But I was trying to figure out how to do that, bring in nutrition, all these things as well. At the same time, I had the opportunity to really start getting involved in epigenetics. It was an upcoming deal back in 2012. This is really starting to flare out and become more of a thing, which now everybody talks about it. But back then it was something new. And so I was starting to figure that out because I was still having my own health issues and stuff on my journey and did chiropractic. I was doing functional medicine. I was getting some results. Things were helping. And I still wasn't quite getting there. So epigenetics was something I said, oh, this is going to be the answer. So got into epigenetics, started doing stuff with that, got some answers there. And then I had a friend of mine who was a medical doctor in Minnesota. And she was like, she started doing some energetic testing on me. She goes, I think you're struggling with Lyme disease. Now, as a functional medicine guy, I did all the testing. And it came back negligible. It wasn't really a yes or no, but it wasn't very absolute. And so she recommended that I start doing a few things. And it made a huge difference in my life. I mean, it was like, wow, that's game changing. And while I'd always looked at some of the energy medicine aspects of this frequency stuff, I thought it was a little foo-foo. I thought, some people are a little wackadoo out there. And here I am, and I am walking proof that it is an amazing thing. And I've eaten a lot of crow over the years, to be honest, but it's absolutely game changing. I had an opportunity to go work in a clinic where we specialize in Lyme disease and using energy medicine, and had the opportunity to go out on my own. And we've been able to do some amazing things, amazing stories, and we've kind of just flared out even from Lyme disease into parasites, viruses. Interesting was when I went on my own, we had this big viral event that happened with COVID. And so I got an opportunity to really come about putting some things together to really help a lot of people. Devaccinate, as we call it, trying to remove some of the bad components and detoxify from those that were in that, and then help with spike proteins and things like that. So we've come up with some pretty amazing stuff with that. And so it's been a really cool aspect of being able to actually go and figure these things out from an energetic point of view. And I'm always trying to figure out, well, how can I help people in a better way? So I have a clinic in Wichita, Kansas called Docere Life Center, and it's an amazing place. I got several of the doctors there, and we're so passionate. I have one of the best staffs. They absolutely do a great job caring for our patients and clients and just really help us take care of them. Had an opportunity with a friend of mine and a patient that we started a company called Docere Energetics. So we started creating remedies that are herbal, but they're also energetically based. So they're doing a whole lot more than just the herb side. We're actually able to go through with energy and frequencies, turn on different systems of the body, and actually start changing things. And so that was huge. So now we're selling these to doctors all around the country so they can use these in their practice to get some amazing results. Kind of years of experience, thousands and thousands of bottles of herbs and essences and homeopathics and everything that we figured out what works best together. And we put that into a bottle to help doctors who don't necessarily want to invest $500,000 in all this stuff. Right. They can go through and take all that into one bottle and be able to go through and get results for people. And the cool thing was getting to meet you. We had somebody in common a few years ago. And then last year we met and we started talking about all the things that We do, and seeing, I think both of us, the light bulbs are going off going, with what you do and what I bring to the table, we can really change people's lives in such a cool way. And it was such a God thing that he brought us together and was able to do this stuff. And some of the things that we've been put together blew my mind because I didn't know they were possible. I mean, you had good stuff, I had good stuff, but when we combined together, it did something that I didn't think was possible. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in our level 2 version that we're coming out with. But that was a game changer, because so much of what I've done for athletes and stuff for over the years, treating them, getting them to perform at a higher level, we're now able to actually put all that into a shirt they can wear or other clothing and everything else. So there's such a huge list in my mind of all the things that we're going to be able to put together over the years. But right now, this is just, it's so exciting for me. I'm so excited to get to work with you on all this stuff. So
that's super exciting. I remember, I think it was about 7 years ago, I referred a person down to your clinic, and when she came back, there was I can't say no more inflammation, but her inflammation was down tremendously. And I was like, okay, what did they do? Who is this guy? I'm thinking, I got to know who this is. And so we met, we talked on the phone a couple of times, whatever. And I referred a few more people, and every time I saw a change. And then when we met last year, we started, like you said, we started working and talking. And some of the changes we see now, just, I would say, experimenting or playing around with it, I'm just like, wow, this is like a different level. This is like a whole new level. So it's pretty cool. I think part of the genius is I've really worked on structure. I worked on the structure of the body, and I haven't really paid any attention to anything else. But you've actually worked on the opposite side of the body, more or less. I mean, you work with structure as well, but you work with anything else with internal in the body. So putting those two things together, it's like a dream. It's like I've been wanting to go in that direction for years, but I just have never been led to go that way. I knew I just needed to stay with structure, but now I come across you and I'm like, oh, okay, we perfectly line up with exactly the same thing. And now that we can combine it and put it into clothing, I think, I'm just super excited. So tell us more about the thought process of kind of how you came up with some of the stuff we'll be using, but then also how you discovered some of it and stuff like that.
Well, first of all, with what you just said, I think what you're saying is that you complete me, or I complete you. Maybe that's what it is. So
yes,
the concept was, how do I take something in the body and allow the body to be able to fix it? So my philosophy is that the body has an innate intelligence to heal itself.
Yes.
The best doctors in the world, I don't care who you are, we can't heal a paper cut. We can't. The body has a natural ability to do that. And if it's not doing it, what's impeding that? So my goal is always to remove the blocks that are there. What can we help with? What do we need to do? What does the body need? Does it need certain things energized so we can upregulate those things in the body?
Right.
Do we need to downregulate other things in the body? Like if we're dealing with autoimmune issues, if we're dealing with parasites. So for example, parasites are a big one. So one of the things with that was, I want to upregulate frequencies of herbs and things like that help kill that. The other side is I want to downregulate the frequencies, so I want to invert the frequencies of the parasites themselves to reduce their levels. And so when I put together, like, one of our products, our Parafuge Pro, I went through and I looked at it and said, what all do I need to do to address all these different parasites? So with the test kits, we can look at all the different frequencies, all the different parasites. And I put all those frequencies into one bottle. I go, what can I put in this bottle that takes care of everything in this bottle? And that was my goal. So I did that, and then I came back and said, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to just kill, I want to restore.
Right.
You can put all the guards in the wall you want, but the walls are destroyed. We've got to rebuild those. So then I came back and said, okay, what homeopathics, what essences, what herbs, what other things can we put in there that are going to actually help restore the gut lining as well, and also help to detoxify, cleanse, and move everything out. So what I tried to do essentially was take 10 different things, put it in one bottle, and create a very elegant solution.
Right.
That has the herbal base to it, but also has all the frequencies that are much more gentle and allow the body to be able to use those things. And so as we talk about frequencies, some of these things have hundreds and hundreds of frequencies in there. And the really cool thing about energy medicine is it's like a giant toolbox. I have all these drawers of all these tools, and they're available if the body needs them. If not, it just passes through. So it gives the body the ability to go, I need that tool, and that tool, and it can use those frequencies to go through and do what it needs to do. And if the rest of them don't have resonance, it just passes on through it and have an issue. So what I tried to do essentially was I tried to give the body the energy, or in the bottle, try to give it the energy and all the tools it needed to address it. Now, we're always finding new things, so I'm always updating and tweaking and responding, especially when we find new things in the environment. You know, there's new things that come up and appear and people are dealing with, or new versions of something. So we're constantly going back and looking at that, and we're constantly updating our bottles to be able to address the things in real time as fast as we can. So within a week or two of finding something, we can usually have a new version energetically in the bottle. So when we start sending those out to doctors, they're getting an updated version right away. Instead of waiting months and months and months to put a herbal blend together, we can actually infuse it energetically right into it. So it's a really neat way of addressing health, especially going to the future here. And I think people are really starting to understand frequencies more with all the different devices people are using and things like that. And so it allows us to go through and really kind of reach the market in a way that probably wasn't available before. Yeah. But I think more people are waking up to the fact that this is so prevalent. In the same way that we have electromagnetic fields that can be negative on us, we can actually put frequencies into your energy field that actually boost and help in other ways. And that's what's really exciting about what we're doing with Intelligent Threads here, is working together. We can put these frequencies in here that as you wear them on a daily basis, it is subtly or gently nudging you in the right direction. And it's incredible, especially some of the stuff that we've been playing around with, experimenting with, and I keep sending him stuff. He keeps sending me stuff back and forth, and we've been mailing stuff back and forth for a while. So it's been really cool from everything that, I don't even want to go into all of it here because we're going to reveal stuff later because there's so much coming. But for right now, we're just going to introduce a few of the things that we think are going to be the most advantageous right off the bat here. And I think I've laid out over 200 different things we can do, at least.
Wow.
And I'm going, and that was really the hard part for us was, what do we hone this down to? What do we start with? And so I think we've kind of come up with a couple things here that we're going to talk about here that I think are going to be huge. Yes. And from there, we'll be able to start building onto other things from different issues people have, being a little more specific, whether we're even going into patches that may have certain frequencies for a sickness or something you can put on and wear it, whether it's in your clothing, whether we're talking about stuff even for our pets. Mm-hmm. And there's some cool stuff we figured out with some of that too. So there's a lot of really neat things that we're coming up with that I'm just so genuinely excited to see what we're going to be able to accomplish and help people. So it's going to be fun.
Absolutely. I think the frequency aspect of it, I know when I've been helping people for over 25 years, and I remember when I first started, I had a lady come in and she was like, "Oh, I can feel this energy," and I was thinking, this lady's crazy. I just didn't understand. I didn't have that knowledge base. I was ignorant to that knowledge base. And then I started thinking about it. Well, I know I'm opening up the blood flow within her body, and when that flows around, it has to carry the energy around with it. If you think about it, when they rub those two paddles together and put it on your heart and go clear, pop, what is that? That's electricity. Yep. So, we've been having it all along. We just don't understand the aspect of it. And the fact that you can dial it in to a very specific frequency and then watch, and we can literally see it through a bunch of different tests, the changes that it makes very quickly within the body is really exciting. So I'm super excited. So let's talk about I think the first one we decided that would be great to combine with Intelligent Threads is muscle support energy. Mm-hmm. And so why don't you tell us a little about that, how we because one day Dr. Frank called me and goes, guess what? It does this. And I'm like, what? I didn't even understand what you were talking about. I was like, yeah, duh, it releases the muscles. He said, no, not like this. And I was like, okay. And then he told me what to do, and I did. I was like, oh my gosh, what in the world? It's like, it took me a while to even understand it. So try to say something to where the people that have no clue what we're talking about can start piecing it together.
So one of the first things, I have something called muscle support energetic that came up with, and the goal of it energetically was to help with all the muscles in the body and to help with tendons, ligaments, the entire support structure that's attached to it, even the periosteum around the bone where it adheres to. And so I wanted to strengthen that and change that. I also went through and put some things in there to help with the articular surface of joints and things like that. And I've been using that for a while. One of the doctors in my office at the time, he came in with torticollis. He couldn't turn his head. He was really locked up. And we gave it to him. And I said, try to turn your head. And he snapped his head to the right because it instantly turned off that muscle. And it was amazing. And so it was very similar to what you do with TRT, coming out from a little bit different aspect there. But what I found was we had put this in a shirt that we gave a friend of ours that does missions work. And so we were doing that. He's in the office. And I was doing a test on him. and the results I were getting replicated what I did with lasers. And what we do is called we're going to cut that part. Neuro upregulation. And so we use lasers and the frequency and the energy coming through there to go into a nerve root that'll reconnect the communication between the brain and the muscle fibers that we found a weakness in. And so I was doing a test on him. He kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm like, I'm not even using a laser. And I've used a laser on him a lot in the past. He's like, how are you doing this? I go, it's got to be the shirt. Yeah. So wait a minute. So I had some of your TRT. So I tried with that. It didn't work.
Right.
I used my muscle support energetic. It didn't work. When I combined them together, it did something almost magical. I mean, all of a sudden it just lit my brain up because I'm going, if you're wearing this shirt and you're warming up or exercising, your brain is reconnecting to every muscle fiber, which helps support joints, helps you protect them. It will limit the injuries that we're having. And the interesting is even some of your guys have been using it and working out, and they're doing extra sets now because they feel stronger, more stable. They get a better workout out of it, and they're going to just build that stronger now and have better communication to the body. So everybody who's doing an athletic event, like I said, getting out of bed in the morning, put your shirt on right away. Yeah. So this is level 2 is what we're calling it, because we're leveling up here with this one,
for sure.
Literally. And it's so exciting just to see what this is capable of, from somebody who's on the field as a professional, who's playing their best game, who needs that slight edge to help them perform better, to grandma or anybody else who's struggling, who's having knee pains, things like that. This can really help with a lot of that. So clinically, and I'm really excited because in the future, we're going to do a lot of studies to go prove all this stuff out and have all the documentation. Right now, what I'm seeing clinically, though, with my patients is absolutely amazing. Yeah. And I'm so excited about that because it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah.
So
when you show me how to check it, I remember I did it and it worked, and I was like, oh my gosh. And so what I did is I isolated TRT by itself. It didn't work.
Yeah.
And then I took what you told me to introduce to it by itself, and it didn't work. And then we put it together and it worked. I go, okay, yes, we should probably work together. I mean, we were already working together, but I was like, that's a pretty clear sign to me that we should just continue to what we're doing.
That was definitely you're on the right track here. I said, okay, thank you, got it. So, but after that, I was like, we're going to change lives. We're going to do so much cool stuff with this. And the most exciting thing is we're barely scratching the surface of what we're capable of here. And I'm just so excited.
Oh, no, very much so. So now we decided to do one more thing that we want to introduce into TRT as well. And the first one is, I don't even think we understand the ramifications of what's going to happen with that one, because it's going to be so good. It's going to help so many people. But this next one, I think we have a decent idea of how it's going to help people. But then we still get surprised every day with how much it helps people. So I'll just let you introduce that one as well.
So the level 3, which is going to have the first 2, the TRT and the muscle support energetic. The next one we are going to add in something that I found kind of by accident, or I found led to put together. So if most people don't know, it's called the breastplate. It's the ephod. So what I did is I was at a museum where we had a replica of the high priest breastplate from Israel. I was looking, I go, each one of those stones has a frequency. And if God wanted the high priest to wear it, why did he want them to wear it and combine it together? I said, you know what? So I'm going to get some of these things and put them together. And so I called a jeweler friend of mine who got me some really high quality stones from around the world that were the original ones that were used in it. We copied those in and energetically took the frequencies of those. We made a remedy. And in office, I was just playing around with it, and I found a lot of people with a lot of emotional stuff it was really helping with, and things like that. A lot of trauma stuff we were seeing. People who've been in some abusive relationships and things. It was helping to actually get some of these deeper emotions that had been stuck that are affecting their health. It's affecting their emotions. It throws cortisol through the roof, which then puts them in a flight or fight point of view. And so they're not healing and rebuilding. And so some of the things are stuck. So working on people for a long time, trying to get them to heal, actually be able to go through and deal with some of these root causes that have been buried there due to past trauma or emotions that are stuck there, was huge. It was a game changer in so many ways. And so a friend of mine had a podcast series, and we did a whole series on this thing, and we put it out to the public. And so people are just ordering the bottle of that, and then we made a necklace that you can wear that has the frequency as well. So it's next to your heart, so it's gently working on you all day long. And the stories we were getting back from people, I didn't quite believe at first. I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I don't know that it does that. And one guy emailed me, he goes, I've had back pain. I've tried everything for 20 years. After wearing the necklace for 2 days, my back pain's been completely gone. And it's like, what? It's like, okay, dumb was a magic feather here. This is what I'm thinking, It's all placebo effect at this point. I had another lady from Chicago, an older lady, and she kept falling all day long. I mean, she was afraid she was going to break her hip. And after that happens, everything's downhill after that.
Yeah.
And she said she hadn't fallen since she'd been wearing that frequency.
Wow.
And that was like, okay, there's something else going on here that I didn't realize.
Absolutely.
And a friend of ours did a heart rate variability test on his wife. And what was interesting was, did the test, 20 minutes later, he did again, but this point in time, he gave her the frequency to hold.
Yep.
And the first time she did it, it said her biological age when testing her was a year older than she was. Mm-hmm. And 20 minutes later, during the 5 minutes test, she dropped 7 years younger.
Yeah.
That's an 8-year swing energetically. And
in 20 minutes.
Well, it was only in 5 actually.
5 minutes.
Yeah, because it wasn't even, because during that time period in between, she wasn't doing anything. And so it was absolutely incredible. And so I've done several of these tests, and I just keep seeing this over and over again with varying things. Some people see a year or two difference, other people it's 10 years difference. And so I'm seeing this. So I bought one of the machines so I could test in the office, because I'm looking at this going, this is incredible. It's doing different things. It's energizing the spine. It's changing the hormone response. It's changing inflammation in the body. And so adding this into level 3 not only will help us with inflammation, better communication of the body, I think it brings the body, and this is my theory on it, I haven't proven this out yet, but we're going to get to that, is that it brings the body energetically into coherence. And what I find is that it actually helps with electromagnetic fields as well.
Yeah.
Certain people, they hold their phones and they can't hold their arm, but they go weak. Yeah. We have them hold that, and all of a sudden they're strong. We're not actually changing what they're coming into. We're just changing the body's ability to be able to address that radiation coming off these things from 5G, Wi-Fi, whatever it is we're bombarded with. Because everybody gets these things and put it on their phone, which helps protect them from their phone, but anybody else in the room, anybody else in the car, the subway, whatever you're in, the airport, on the plane, you're getting bombarded all the time from everywhere else. And with 5G now, it's incredible, but it was really interesting to see how that's working on that and helping at that level. And so bringing this into level 3, I think is going to do a lot of different things. First of all, it's going to help people if you're performing. Mm-hmm. It's going to help to calm you down. It's going to keep you more even-keeled emotionally.
Right.
On top of that, it's going to help you just energetically perform better. Yeah. And so that's huge. And one of the concepts that you and I have talked about was this would be amazing for people who are in the, I'm going to call it the advanced service industry.
Yes.
Soldiers, EMTs, police officers, firemen, things like this, who have to perform physically, and yet they're exposed to things that may cause a lot of PTSD and things like that we can help them with this. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what we can do with putting these things together for some of those people there, especially people who are in the field. I mean, I got friends that are cops, and some of the stories of what they witness and see, it's heartbreaking, Yeah. Firemen, running into burning buildings, things like that. How do we keep them functioning at a high level so they can keep serving and doing what they do? Because I have a lot of patients that are firemen who've had to stop. They got injured. They got hurt. They can't perform the way they used to. And it's interesting because it's not just the fact that they can't perform, it's that brotherhood that you have there, and they lose that. And that's hard on a guy, especially when you have that camaraderie and everything. You've been through those things together, and you lose the ability to be a part of that team and do that stuff. And so if this will help with that, not just on a physical performance, but also on emotion, to help everything stabilize, to be able to deal with things and be able to help our country just be great, and the people to serve one another and to really help out. That's huge. I think that's a dream of ours, is eventually to really try to find a way to work with some of these different organizations and really try to help them perform better and to live better and just be a better service to humanity.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't have said that better, and that's definitely where my heart's at. We've actually outfitted some uniformed police officers and whatnot just with the intelligent threads, and we see a huge difference with just the TRT in there. I can't wait to outfit people.
Take them to level 3.
Take them up there. I have a couple of pro athletes now that are using all 3. They're kind of our beta test subjects. I don't know if they know it or not. Anyways, wink, 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 wink. And just the stories they give back, they're like, "Yeah, I'm like calmer. I'm performing better. I can focus better. I feel better." So yeah, we're definitely on the right track together with that. So in a little bit we'll do some videos and we'll show how some of the simple tests that you can do to show yourself. So I'm excited about that. That's where I like visual stuff. Yeah. As well. And then so this is 2, And then there you said you're potentially has about 198 more different things that we could put together or focus on. Just kind of
should we
a little preview.
You want to tease a few things?
Yeah,
okay.
Maybe, we'll see.
Well, one of the big things that I really want to address that we're kind of toying with right now is something that I want for socks.
Oh, yes.
And this one's big because what I did is I looked at it and I spent hours and hours and hours researching this, putting this together. So the humble foot. I mean, most of us put a shoe on it. We don't think about it much. It's our connection to the ground. Physically, or even in physics, everything you do athletically comes from what your feet do interacting with the ground. Whether you're doing spins or flips in the air, whatever it is, gymnastically, whatever it is, everything comes from your connection to the ground. So if your foot doesn't perform well, we have issues. Well, we know nowadays with diabetes and the neuropathy and all the things. So what I did is I put something together that we're playing with right now. I think we're close, but we're not quite there 100%. But I wanted something that's going to deal with every organ that's involved from reflexology, dealing with every ligament, every bone, every muscle, every blood vessel, lymph supply, because the feet are one of our largest detox areas in our body.
Yeah.
It's also for grounding. So I went through and I looked at it from probably about 20 different ways. And I go, what all can I put in here to create this thing? And I think it's something special. So we're going to be creating a sock here that we're going to see if we can really, we got some people that we're experimenting with. We're going to see how it helps with neuropathy, overall performance. I've got a friend of mine who ran 7 marathons in 7 days on all 7 continents. It was an impressive feat at 50 years old. And so we're going to do some things like that with him running and some different things, seeing that helps him perform, get better times and things like that, better contact, reduce injuries along with everything else we're doing with level 3. And so we've got those. And then there's probably about 10 levels probably when we actually get to it. So it's trying to figure out how to actually introduce these into the environment or into the marketplace and who to target for some of these things to really see the results with it. But clinically, some of the things I've been using for a long period of time have been absolutely phenomenal with the results we're getting. So
yeah, that's so cool.
It is.
I'm super excited about moving forward in this and then getting feedback from different customers and testimonies and stories, because we're going to get a ton of them.
Yeah.
And we'll learn even more on the way. So that's the fun part. I feel that with this kind of, with what the path that we're walking down, it's brand new. It's brand new. But it's been around forever. That's the funny part. And so it's kind of like now we can tap it away and isolate and get into, and then we can show without a shadow of a doubt how the efficacy of it, how it works, and which way you can go with it. And the main thing is that people feel better, and we help prevent injuries, and we help them perform better. To me, that's the key. Like I'm always telling people, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you out of my office. I don't want you to come back to my office. And so to me, that's the key. If we can build something that supports them day to day, that makes them feel good, and then we don't have to see them there as much, let's do it.
I always tell my patients and stuff, it's kind of strange to have a job where I'm always trying to work myself out of a job.
Exactly.
I mean, I want you to be a patient for life. I'm here if you ever need me, but I don't necessarily want to be, you have to see me every single day. I don't want to create something where you're requiring it. So helping people to just live a better life, perform better throughout the day, to be able to deal with the stresses, because what we're dealing with today in the last 100 and let's say 50 years, people are completely different from what they were. We have so many different chemicals we're exposed to now, electromagnetic fields, all the stuff that we're exposed to now. 150 years ago, people didn't deal with it. They were eating food. They're actually eating real food. I mean, that's a big thing, right?
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
Different water sources, different things like that. So they were functioning at a different level. And so as we've advanced as a society, we've also advanced in degradation of the society with the science that we have now. So all the benefits that it brings us also brings us other issues. So how do we come back and try to contradict that? So if I'm looking at going, how can I help people perform better? So jokingly, I think we talked about it a little while ago. I go, if somebody's trying to get to Mars, it'd be kind of interesting to actually be able to put some stuff into a spacesuit that would help with maybe radiations in space or things like that, and be able to figure some of these out to help people perform. So, it's always an interesting concept to be able to go through and do these things. So I appreciate the fact that people look at things like going to Mars or whatever it is, and they have these high-minded ideals. Well, how do we pull these things together to get there? And I'm like, well, let's take that same concept and go, what's the craziest, wildest thing that we could ever think of? Yeah. Let's make that our goal, and let's figure out the steps we need to go to along the way to do that. And so it'll be very interesting to see what we can do to help people from all fields. And just, again, I feel like we're just scratching the surface. And we're not one to rest on our laurels. We're always looking at trying to advance. So things that are in level 1 or level 2 and level 3 now, they may get like 2.1 and 3.1. And eventually as we start to find, oh, we need to add this to it. We need to do this. And so we're constantly trying to upgrade. Because really, if you think about the electrical system of the body, we're dealing with frequencies, we're dealing more with software than we are with hardware. It affects the hardware, but we're trying to change the software and the operating system of your body. So every day, it's like getting a patch, it's like getting an upgrade. And so we're working on that every day to try to help people perform better. So yeah, it's exciting.
I always consider myself over curious. I think you might fall in that boat as well.
Yeah, hyper curious.
I don't know if I'm hyper, but definitely over curious, and you're hyper curious. So together we're hyper over curious. Anyways, so I'm just super excited about what we're putting together, and and really just the way it's going to help people in general. I think we have a great opportunity to help a massive amount of people to just live their best life. So anything you want to say, anything else you want to add, or anything else you want to say, closing remarks, or what do you like to tell the world if you had to tell the world one thing?
If I had to tell the world one thing, learn to heal from the frequency up. That's the basis of everything. It's deeper than chemistry. Yeah. Because chemistry is all based upon the frequencies of what happens when you change the molecular weight of something. Correct. So healing from the frequency up, I think, is really it's my mantra. I think it's part of what we're incorporating into what we're doing here. We're sitting here in this beautiful store. I mean, this thing is beautiful here in Fredericksburg, Texas. So if you're in the neighborhood, come on down, check out the store here. And if you're not, check us out online. There's going to be some really cool things. Always sign up you can get the updates on all the new stuff we're coming out with, and new videos, new education that we're going to be doing, and learn about some of the new products we're going to be introducing to the marketplace, and see how we can help. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Like, let's go do some demos now and show some people some stuff. I'm excited for that, and then eventually we'll eat some food.
Oh, of course.
That's what it's all about. But anyways,